Have you ever encountered someone whose self-control was so intense it made you question your own willpower? Someone who operates with such unwavering precision that their daily routine seems almost supernatural. Today, you're going to discover the most terrifying form of discipline known to humanity, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to develop it yourself. There's a woman named Sarah who works at a tech company in downtown Seattle. Every morning at 4:47 a.m., her alarm sounds. Not 4:45, not 4:50, but exactly 4:47. She rises immediately, no snooze button, no negotiation with her tired mind. By 5 a.m., she's already completed her first set of exercises. By 5:30, she's meditating. By 6, she's reading. Her colleagues think she's either incredibly motivated or slightly unhinged. The truth is far more fascinating. What Sarah has mastered isn't just discipline. She's unlocked something that psychologists call behavioral automaticity, and it's the closest thing to a superpower that ordinary people can develop. This isn't about grinding through pain or forcing yourself to do things you hate. This is about rewiring your brain so completely that certain behaviors become as natural as breathing. Most people approach self-improvement like they're trying to climb a mountain with a broken rope. They rely on motivation, which comes and goes like the weather. They depend on willpower, which gets depleted throughout the day like a phone battery. They make promises to themselves on Sunday night that they've forgotten by Wednesday morning. This approach fails because it fights against the fundamental architecture of human psychology. Your brain is designed to conserve energy and create patterns. Every time you force yourself to do something through sheer willpower, you're essentially asking your brain to work against its natural programming. It's like trying to swim upstream in a river while carrying a heavy backpack. You might make progress for a while, but eventually the current will win. But what if you could turn that current in your favor? What if instead of fighting your brain's tendency to create automatic patterns, you could harness that same mechanism to build the exact behaviors you want? This is where the scariest level of discipline begins to emerge. The secret lies in understanding how your mind categorizes different types of commitments. When you tell yourself you're going to start working out, your brain files this under flexible intention. These are promises you make with escape routes already built in. Your subconscious knows that if things get tough, you can always find a reason to quit tomorrow. But there's another category of commitment that your brain treats completely differently. These are what researchers call identity-based behaviors. When your brain believes that a certain action is simply who you are, resistance disappears almost entirely. You don't negotiate with yourself about brushing your teeth because you identify as someone who maintains basic hygiene. You don't debate whether to feed your children because you identify as a responsible parent. Sarah discovered this principle accidentally. 3 years ago, she was struggling with chronic fatigue and depression. Traditional therapy helped, but what really transformed her life was making one simple shift in how she viewed herself. Instead of saying, "I want to exercise more," she began saying, "I am someone who moves my body every single day." The difference seems subtle, but the neurological impact is profound. When you operate from identity rather than intention, your behavior becomes self-reinforcing. Every time you act in accordance with your declared identity, you strengthen that neural pathway. Your brain starts to view deviation from this behavior as a threat to your core sense of self. This is why Sarah's routine has become so automatic that she sometimes completes her morning exercises without fully waking up. The transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it requires a specific methodology that most people never learn. You can't simply declare a new identity and expect your brain to accept it immediately. Your subconscious is too smart for that. It needs proof. And that proof has to be accumulated through a carefully designed system of micro-commitments and public accountability. The first step involves making your commitment irreversible in the eyes of others. When Sarah decided to become someone who exercises daily, she didn't just make a private promise. She announced to her entire social media network that she would complete a specific workout routine every day for 90 days straight. She posted daily updates, shared her struggles, and made it impossible to quit without facing public embarrassment. This might seem dramatic, but it taps into one of the most powerful motivational forces in human psychology: Our ancestors survived in tribes, and being expelled from the group meant death. Your modern brain still carries this ancient programming. When failure becomes socially visible, your primitive survival instincts kick in to prevent that outcome. But public commitment is only the beginning. The next element involves eliminating decision fatigue through what experts call temporal anchoring. Sarah doesn't wake up each morning wondering when she'll exercise. The time is fixed, non-negotiable, and completely removed from daily decision-making. This prevents her brain from wasting precious mental energy on scheduling decisions that could otherwise be used for execution. Every morning decision you make about when to start your routine burns glucose that should be used for actually doing the routine. Sarah eliminated this energy drain by anchoring her practice to an exact time that never changes. Her brain stopped questioning when and started focusing entirely on execution. The third component is what transforms discipline from a struggle into an unstoppable force. Sarah doesn't just exercise every day. She does the exact same sequence of exercises in the exact same order at the exact same time. 20 burpees, 15 push-ups, 30-second plank, 10 jumping jacks. The specificity isn't arbitrary. It's strategic. Variety is the enemy of automation. Every time you change what you're doing, your brain has to make micro-decisions about form, duration, and intensity. These tiny choices create friction points where your old patterns can reassert themselves. By making her routine absolutely identical every single day, Sarah eliminated every possible negotiation point her mind could use to resist. Her friends call it obsessive. Her family thinks it's excessive, perfect. When people start commenting on your consistency in ways that make them uncomfortable, you know you've crossed into territory that most humans never explore. Their discomfort isn't about you. It's about what your existence proves is possible for them. During the first month, Sarah's mind waged war against this rigid structure. Her thoughts screamed for variety, for spontaneity, for the freedom to skip when she didn't feel like exercising. But she had prepared for this rebellion. She understood that her brain would test every boundary she established, looking for weaknesses it could exploit. By the 6th week, something shifted. She began waking up 2 minutes before her alarm. Her body started preparing for movement before her conscious mind engaged. The resistance that had dominated her mornings gradually faded into background noise, then disappeared entirely. This is where the scariest level of discipline reveals itself. Sarah no longer decides to exercise each morning. The decision was made years ago and has been reinforced so many times that it operates below the level of conscious choice. Her body moves through the sequence automatically while her mind focuses on other things. But what happens when life interferes with perfect conditions? When Sarah travels for work, when she's sick, when unexpected emergencies disrupt her carefully constructed routine? This is where most people's discipline systems collapse completely. They operate under the dangerous assumption that consistency requires perfect circumstances. Sarah learned to prepare for imperfection through what she calls scenario mapping. Before problems arise, she determines exactly how she'll maintain her practice under any conceivable condition. Hotel room with no space? Silent exercises in the bathroom. Flight delayed until 3 a.m. Modified routine on the airplane. Food poisoning that leaves her bedridden. 2 push-ups from her knees and 30 seconds of deep breathing. These aren't compromises. They're maintenance protocols designed to preserve momentum when life becomes chaotic. A river doesn't stop being a river during drought. It adapts. It finds new channels. But the water keeps moving toward its destination. Your practice must operate the same way. The power of pre-solving obstacles extends beyond maintaining your routine. It eliminates the mental energy waste that destroys most people's discipline. When unexpected challenges appear, you're not making stressed decisions about whether to continue. You're simply executing predetermined responses that were created when your judgment was clear and your motivation was high. After 18 months of this system, Sarah discovered something that surprised even her. The discipline she'd built around exercise had begun spreading into every area of her life. Her work productivity increased dramatically. Her relationships improved because she became more reliable and present. Her financial habits transformed because the same principles that governed her morning routine started governing her spending decisions. This is the multiplication effect that separates truly disciplined people from those who simply have good habits in isolated areas. When you prove to yourself that you can maintain unwavering consistency in one domain, your brain begins to believe that such consistency is part of your fundamental nature. The identity shift ripples outward, touching everything you do. People who encounter Sarah now describe her as having an almost supernatural level of self-control. They want to know her secrets, her techniques, her special formulas for staying motivated. The truth would disappoint them because it's simultaneously simpler and more demanding than they imagine. Sarah doesn't have secrets or special motivation. She simply chose to become someone for whom consistent action is non-negotiable, then proved that identity to herself, one decision at a time, until her brain had no choice but to accept it as truth. The scariest level of discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do difficult things. It's about becoming someone who can't imagine doing them any other way. The question isn't whether you can develop this level of consistency. The question is whether you're ready to let your old self die so your disciplined self can be born.